Welcome to South Central Regional Library's Safe Inside Your Walls programming, supported by Safe at Home Manitoba.
Hi, my name is Joyce, and today we're going to make a bag. We'll start with 2 rectangles of fabric. These are 9 by 20. You can make any size you want. The size of the rectangle tells you what size your bag is going to be. Step 2, we place the 2 fabrics right sides together, and we're going to sew 3 sides. Sometimes you want a flat bag like this, but sometimes you want a bottom so you can set it down. And I'll show you how to do that. What we have to do is join the side seam and the bottom seam. They have to be exactly behind each other, so I put a pin in. I'll show you how to make a bottom now. Put your hand inside, so that the side seam and bottom seam are exactly one on top of the other. And I usually put a pin through right at the seam, check that it's at the seam on both sides. Now I'm going to sew across here. The longer the sewing line, the wider the bottom of the bag. The sewing line has to be perpendicular to the seam line. I'm going to mark it with a red marker. I don't know if you would want to use a marker. It might show too much, but you see, perpendicular. All right, I'm going to sew it now. It's good to backstitch at the beginning and end of the seam. Now we have to do the same to the other side. What I usually do is put one on top of the other, put a little mark at each end, and do my sewing line. Your iron is your best friend while you're sewing. So press this down, press this down. Don't hurt my seams a bit. And then I'm going to turn it right side out. You have a bag with a bottom. This step isn't really necessary, but it makes a better job. I like to press this square bottom. And don't you like my iron? Cadillac. And if you want, you can also press sides. If you have like an iron like mine, you just want to iron everything. And you can see what a difference it makes when you iron it. This is called a raw edge. When you finish your bag, you don't want any raw edges showing, so I'm going to turn it under just a little bit. iron that. You can measure this if you want. I've been making bags for a while, so I can kind of eyeball it. I'm turning under about 1/2 inch. Or, what's that? 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters. For this handle, I've got a piece about 34 by 3.5. I might not use it all when I get it to the bag, but I'm going to make the strap with this. I sewed 3 pieces of the fabric together. It can be longer or shorter. If you have some kind of trimming like this, as long as it's got good edges, no raw edges, you can use that. I went to the MCC and I found some things like this. They're great. You can use ribbon if you want to get fancy. But I will show you how to do it with fabric. There are 2 ways of doing it. One way is to sew it in half, sew it along the edge, and then turn it right side out. Works well, but sometimes it's hard to get it turned, so I'll show you another way. We'll have to go to the ironing board. I'm going to turn under about 1/4 inch on each side. And you can measure this if you want. I'll do the same on this side. And now, I fold it in half, and you see no raw edges. I'm going to sew along the edge, not the folded edge, but the other edge. I'm sewing about 1/4 inch away from the edge. It looks okay, but I think it looks better if I sew also on the folded edge. So I'm going to do that now. And there we have our handle. We can attach it several ways. I'll fold under a little bit, and here's the seam. We can attach it on the outside or on the inside. Just make sure the raw edge is not showing. And I see that this strap is probably too long. I might want to chop it in half or a little bit shorter. But another option is to line your bag, so we'll do that. We want to make the lining before we attach this handle. While you weren't looking, I made the exact same bag, same size, but I did not turn it right side out. It's still inside out. And I'm going to put that bag inside this bag. And we have a lining. When I'm finished, I'm going to sew a button on this side, and this elastic will go around the button. Now I'm going to sew the 2 bags together, the lining and the outer bag. And when I come to the strap, I might double sew it. Most sewing machines will sew on buttons if you know how, and this one does. So nice. get the button right in the right place though. And here you have your bag, a lined bag with a button fastener. And here we have our finished bag with a button fastening. Wasn't that easy? Thanks for joining us for this Safe at Home Manitoba presentation. Stay safe at home between your walls.